Is enjoying the breakfast? Welcome to this great partnership between Stanbic, Ministry of Industry, Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, and Microsoft. My name is Pauline Mbaya, head of Stanbic Foundation. I'm here to just give an introductory remark, and then I will invite the bank's chief executive to come and say one or two things, and then the program commences. Just to acknowledge the CS Betty for honoring us this morning, the CAS Dr. Karanja also honoring us this morning, the PS Ambassador Weru, the other government dignitaries, my colleagues and partners now from Microsoft, Kendi, welcome, the colleagues from Stanbic and our other partners, welcome to this morning's event. Mine is just to take you back to a journey that started when the CS visited with us one of the Biashara centers in Kariobangi. At the time, that was last year, August, when the CS visited the center, as we were going around the center, and she was engaging the bank chairman and our chief executive. They shared a story to the effect that at the time, August last year, 1 million people had lost jobs as a result of COVID. I think that planted a seed in the bank, a seed to say, how can we partner with the government on this journey? And a seed to say, given that we are a bank that cares, how can we bring people back to employment? How can we partner with the journey, with the bank on that journey? At the time, we were having a discussion with Microsoft in terms of how we could master and work with them on digital skills. And that became a very interesting marriage. So we've been looking at that since August. And we are happy to say today we will be unveiling that partnership. It's been an excellent journey. I think from a ministry side, Madam CS, we have engaged and we've been having the CAS as the chair of all our meetings. We have had the directors, we've had the PS involved. So we've gotten from the government the level of support at the highest level, and we do appreciate that. So I think from where we sit, for us, it's a very good partnership we are beginning today. We believe in a big way we'll be contributing to job creation through the use of digital skills, and you will see a demo here that will show how that journey will happen. And we also believe we're actually talking to the president's call to bring in the issue of digital skills, to promote digital entrepreneurship, and to advance Kenya's agenda on digital. So we believe the role of private sector in this journey is good. We believe it will help Kenya leapfrog in terms of where we are moving, and we are really looking forward to working with you. I think represented here are all the agencies that the ministry felt were necessary. We have the Micro and Small Enterprise Authority here, and we have the chief executive here. We have the Kenya Industrial Estates here, and we have the chief executive as well. And then we have Kirdi here, and I think we have two state departments, the State Department of Trade, of course headed by the PS, Ambassador Weru, and we also have the State Department of Industry. So we are receiving the highest level of support, and for that, Madam CS, we thank you. So without saying much, I would like to welcome our chief executive, Mr. Charles Mudiwa, to come and give his remarks. Thank you.
Honorable Betty Maina, the Cabinet Secretary for Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development. Mr. Lauren Karanja, our Chief Administrative Secretary for the Ministry. Principal Secretary for Industrialization, Dr. Francis Awino. Principal Secretary for Trade and Enterprise Development, Ambassador Johnson Weru. Our Chairperson of the Board of Stanbic Foundation, Madam Oro Okolo. Ministry and government dignitaries, managing directors from the different enterprises, fellow colleagues from Stanbic Bank, esteemed business members, and members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming to join us this morning. It's really a great honor to meet you again, Madam CS, after our visit in Kariobangi which gave us an inspiration to say, what can we do differently for our SMEs and how can we work together? It is very clear that arising from that, we have come together in a partnership today to start to build a long-term relationship about how we can address one of the core pillars of government policy around how we develop our SMEs, develop industrialization, promote digital skills, and indeed grow the economy, which is also aligned to our purpose as the bank, which is Kenya is our home, we drive our growth. We've seen recent research by the World Bank indicating that by 2030, the level of digital skills will be required in Kenya will be about 50 to 55% of all the jobs. So it's a mammoth task that we have to achieve, that in the next 20 years, we have to get, 10 years actually, we have to get at least 55% of the population with sufficient digital skills to be able to work. What is also important is that we also realize that about 70% of the jobs will require at least some foundational digital skills for people just to be able to work. And I'm already seeing that every day. I mean, just for you to even make a payment today, you need to understand how that phone works. Even villagers are having to learn to do that and to have some basic digital skills just to survive on a daily basis. With 70% of the population in Kenya having access to broadband internet, Kenya is indeed ripe for digital change. And it is important that we start providing those support, and indeed the private sector comes to the party to help enterprises and individuals start to get the digital skills they require. It is no longer a luxury for us in business to have digital skills, but it's almost a prerequisite and a foundational necessity for one just to be able to deliver anything that they're required to do in businesses. I mean, I know one country, for example, where they've gone on to a point where even now, to get on a matatu, you don't buy a ticket or you don't pay cash anymore. You have to, you pay it online. In fact, you pay it online long before you even get there. And they just scan and then say, okay, you're getting in there. And I believe we're getting that journey. So even on a daily living, we're getting to a point where digital skills and competencies are going to be a necessity. And more so for our SMEs as they start to thrive and build their businesses. As a result, Stanbic Foundation partnered with Microsoft and your ministry to start this training program as we start looking at how do we get people who currently have lost jobs because of COVID. They need retooling and to be able to be retraining to give them a new chance and a new fresh start in life. And this partnership today is the beginning of that journey that we are looking forward to start looking at that. Our initial target that by the end of this year, 50,000 people across the country would have received this training. And it's a journey that starts today. And we certainly believe that in the next 3-4 years, we should at least be able to make a good mark around achieving this, and hopefully we can get a 500,000 mark. In other words, 50% of the population that has been lost their jobs should be able to get access to these jobs. As we partner for this journey and we work on this journey, we are looking at a situation where 80% of the efforts of this bank must go towards equipping people in providing these tools. And we look at collaborations like this and partnerships like this as something that will help us drive inclusive growth, but also more importantly, provide job opportunities as we start to provide skills that people would look like. And this is a partnership that we believe would help this country grow and will make the ministry achieve and the government achieve its objective. Youth unemployment cannot be resolved quickly, but we believe that we can only start one step at a time. And today marks that one step that allows us to start transitioning our young people into some form of entrepreneurial skills that will allow them to start realizing their dreams. As we say at Stanbic, anything is possible because it can be. And because it can be, we believe that we actually can make it possible and make it happen for everyone. As we say, any journey starts with one step, and nothing is too small to make a difference. My favorite African proverb, Africans, we love proverbs, but the one I love most is that if you think a small step can make a difference, you've never spent a night with a mosquito. Because if you do spend a night with a mosquito, you know that even a small little thing can make a big difference in your life. And therefore, this one step we make today, we believe will start to make a difference in somebody's life. And therefore, Madam Cabinet Secretary, we want to say thank you for collaborating with us, and we want to thank our partners from Microsoft for joining us on this journey. So our commitment to you today is that we will continue to support contributing to the Kenya economy through firm interventions that will propel job creation and enterprise development. And this is just one of the steps. And I'm sure, as you are aware, we are one of the banks that is one of the 6 banks that has joined the credit guarantee scheme of government to support micro enterprises. So this journey is not just about the technology. We are also putting together supporting through the credit guarantee scheme. Secondly, we are also committing that in the next 3 years, we commit 500 million shillings in soft capital, which is, in other words, a mixture of grant and easy terms funding for SME development that will be given to SMEs through the foundation, and work with the foundation to ensure that our SMEs do have access not just to the commercial loans we normally do, but also concessionary loans and some form of grants, which we call soft capital, to allow them to start and to grow. And then, of course, thirdly, we commit that we will work with partners like Microsoft and many others to promote the adoption of digital technologies and innovation across the country. So we want to say thank you very much, and please welcome Nkaribu Sana. We thank you for today, and we wish you all the best. Yes. Okay. Now it's done.
Thank you very much, Charles. I would like to invite our chair of the Stanbic Foundation, Ori Okolo, to come on stage. Thanks.
Good morning. Thanks, Pauline. I'll say all protocols observed rather than read through the list of everybody again, but welcome. Thanks for being here very early this morning. Good to see a great turnout. And I think CS Karanja, at the last event that we had when we were launching the foundation, I committed that we are not just all talk, but action. I think I'm also known for that as well. And this is a good testament. I hope that you see that we're following through to some of the commitments we made a few months ago when we were launching the foundation. I'm deeply honored and grateful to be part of this partnership between the Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, the Foundation, and Microsoft Kenya. This partnership is a demonstration of how private sector can play a key role in supporting the social and economic agenda of government by working in partnership with government. And I always say, I believe nothing scales better than government. So we might have the expertise and a bit of the financial leverage, but I think in terms of reach and the ability to reach those who need it the most, partnership through government is one of the ways to get there. And so I'm really excited. I hope we're developing a model for future engagements where we bring the best of what we have to leverage on the reach and the depth of government. So I'm very excited about that. And I convey my gratitude to Pauline, and all the teams who've been working extremely hard over the last few months to make this happen. As the chair of the foundation, she'll tell you, I work really hard. And so this, to make sure that we are following through on our commitments, and I'm really excited to see this happening. And I think on a personal note, those of you who know me from the technology space know that it has been quite transformative for me and many others, particularly women, who've come up over the last few years. And in shaping Kenya, I think, as the hub of technology and digital in the continent. And I think going deeper in terms of skills will be so important. It's been transformative to my life, and I think to the lives of many, many young Kenyans. And I think there's a lot more to be done, particularly, hopefully, in a post-pandemic. It doesn't seem to be ending. In a post-pandemic world, the role of technology and digital will be more critical than ever. As we highlighted during the launch of the foundation last year, we're pursuing a number of outreach activities around enterprise development, job creation, and focused on 4 key pillars in particular: helping businesses become more competitive, providing access to finance, providing access to markets, and influencing policy, because I think in the absence of the right policy frameworks, a lot of our work will not go as far as it could go. So policy and influencing policy is very important for the foundation. Under the access to finance pillar, we will support micro, small, and medium enterprises, as Charles mentioned, with access to alternative sources of capital, including grant funding, affordable loans, along training and mentorship. In 2021 alone, we plan to allocate over 100 million Kenyan shillings to support these efforts. And over the next 5 years, we estimate to commit over 500 million Kenyan shillings just on the access to finance pillar. Beyond our focus on enterprise development and job creation, we are committing resources to support the adoption of digital skills, which is one of these initiatives. And one of the main objectives of this program is not just addressing the skills gap and helping SMEs, but I think not everyone can be an entrepreneur, yeah? And there is a gap in terms of skills that will enable people to get jobs. So targeting both those who are looking for jobs and those who are looking to get into entrepreneurship, become better at it. The adoption of digital tools we've seen during this pandemic has grown exponentially in Kenya. Everything from the volume of mobile money transactions, e-commerce has shot up tremendously, the ability to work from home and facilitating that, and then the realization, whether it's telemedicine, health, logistics, cutting across, there is going to be a growing demand for a population that is digitally literate and has those skills, and so we're hoping to close the gaps that we see there. In partnership with the government and Microsoft, this program will take place at various government centers, and like I said, reach is important so that this is not just a very nice Nairobi initiative. We actually plan to go to around the country and reach at least 50,000 people this year. A contribution includes a donation of 480 computers and laptops to the ministry and its various agencies in support of the rollout of this initiative. And over the next 3 years, we hope to reach over 500,000 Kenyans. Through the foundation and in the spirit of It Can Be, we want to help create impact, change lives, and contribute significantly to the growth of Kenya's economy. We look forward to continuing working in partnership with the government and with Microsoft to achieve this. Asanteni sana.
I think without going back to the stage, I would like to now welcome Kendi. Kendi is the country manager for Microsoft, and from where we see a good partner for the partnership.
Betty, the CS, CAS Karanja, PS Wero, the senior government officials, CE Mudiwa, distinguished guests, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good morning. It gives me such an honor, and it's such an honor for Microsoft to be part of this event, an event that sees us, the private sector, partner with the public sector to at least bring digitization to Kenya. And we like to say, for those of us in tech, if there's one thing that's an equalizer, it's really the world of technology. When you have the right digital skills, it doesn't matter where you're from in the world. It means you can play. We have seen that possible because even as Microsoft here in Kenya, we have about 200 engineers that sit to develop Microsoft programs that are used around the world, which tells you we have people of our land who sit and develop globally used programs, which then tells you we can bring that on board to the country and to the region for us to impact and make a difference for Kenyans. We have seen what it's meant for the last 1 year. It was a difficult year, as we know, without belabeling the point. And we saw the main bit that was affected is the SMEs, and we like to say the SME is the backbone of our economy. Beyond that, it was the individuals. Every year, we see over 1 million youths get into the employment market or into building the economy actively and proactively. But yet, we also saw statistics that were shared. About 1 million young people lost formal employment. And we know when 1 million people lose formal employment, that gives a different effect and it rolls over. But then, what do we have to play as Microsoft? What contribution do we give so that we help people differentiate themselves and be relevant for today and tomorrow? And it is where digitization comes in. One of the aims or one of the targets that has been given is to have an increase of about 900,000 jobs every year. In a year like COVID, how do you do that? Then digital skills comes to play, and that's where Microsoft comes to be. The Global Skilling Initiative, which is a global initiative by Microsoft, was launched by the organization in collaboration with LinkedIn, a Microsoft company, where we use data to identify the demand in skills and jobs. So we look at a country and we see what are the highest demanded skills, what are the most sought after jobs, what gaps are there. So using that data, we offer a free access to learning paths and a comprehensive resource pool where the people can come in and pick a learning path and use that. After they've learned, we give them certifications and the platform, which is LinkedIn, for them to look for jobs. So it is really a practical path that we take. So far, because this has been running from June last year, we launched it in June, July 2020 globally, but now launching for Kenya now officially now, and thank you, Stanbic, and the Ministry for the partnership. We have seen over 54,000 youths engaged, which is really encouraging. And some of the courses that we see people going for, the learning paths, we've seen the interest in software development, customer service specialist, data analyst, digital marketing, and project management. Now, if you look at those paths, these are skills, really, which you can offer to the world from Kenya. So they make one relevant, not just for Kenya, but for the world, which then increases the output of our youth. So if we look again at the Emerging Markets Initiative, Skills Initiative in Kenya, the goal, as we see, is to accelerate skilling and employment, which has already been stated. If we look at the people that we're looking to have, over 50,000 in this calendar year alone. Again, we work together and see how will we achieve that. The program expects that at least 2,000 youths should be placed in employment. Those who take it seriously, those who improve, differentiate themselves. We know we have so many graduates who get out every year, but then what differentiates you? What makes you different? If for SMEs, what makes you more sustainable? When COVID happened and there was a lockdown, were people able to continue with businesses? Those are the questions that we expect or invite the SMEs to ask themselves. So why does it matter? Why are we closing the gap? Because advances in technology that I could name, but not necessary, various technologies. I see my friend, if I named it, she'll get it, but we don't have to. It's really to enable everyday life. It's things that make us relevant for the community now. It's to maximize what is already done physically, but then what can be done in a digital way. So as I conclude, what do we expect to see? For an individual, let it differentiate for them. Let them be able to be marketable. Let them be placed in jobs. Let them be of better value to the SME that they work for, or even the company they work for, to the manager or the entrepreneur. The more you are tech savvy, and we've seen that if we have a 5-year-old who comes and is able. Yesterday we were having a conversation with my children. We were taking a drive, and they were asking for chicken, and I'm telling them we don't have money for chicken. I was trying to manage them. And they're like, but it's only 300 shillings. And I'm like, how is it 300 shillings? How do you know? Then they're like, because we saw it. Glovo says just 300 shillings, you'll have 3 pieces of chicken and you'll have chips delivered. And that's a 5-year-old having that conversation with me. And they see it rolling because, of course, they are using the same gadgets to do school. And in between the adverts that roll over, they're able to read that. And they challenge me. But then again, for the manager, if then you're not being able to be tech savvy as yourself, or for the entrepreneur, then who are you inviting? Are you inviting the right skill to your company? For the company, these are the established organizations, whether it's a Stanbic, whether it's a Microsoft itself. What makes you remain relevant? What makes you a great going concern? What looks it to beyond before? And it's amazing to see Ori in the industry heading a board. Technology becomes a daily player. It becomes a daily conversation. Before it was always finance when it would be taught. We'd only talk about being a going concern from a finance perspective. But right now you become relevant because you are enabled in a technology way. And to the country, really. Kenya, we are ahead in the region. We set the pace for the region, for the continent. The world looks to Kenya to see what is Kenya doing from an Africa perspective so that they can come and invest and replicate. This shows you because even of the multinationals, Microsoft and the likes of us, this is the hub for most of our African operations. So in that way for the country, again, answering to the HE's call, like can we be digital? Can we be digitally able? Can we enable our youth who are many, who are, the youth really is over 50% of our population. So can we enable them to be able to be relevant for this day and age? So in summary, we are grateful to be here as Microsoft. We are heavily invested in the country, directly and indirectly. We love that we have partners like you, the Stanbic, partners like the government. When you come in, no one is able to scale better than government, as she said. And so we are excited to be here and looking forward to the rest of the day. Thank you.
We are now inviting Lorna to give us just a demo so that you have an idea as to what technology we are talking about. And as she comes on stage, I would like to inform the audience here that we do have our implementing partners. Arquit, the company or the partner that is going to be working with us. Constantine and your colleagues, just raise your hands. Thank you.
Pauline. To the CS, CAS, PS, senior government officials, ladies and gents, all protocols observed. Good morning. So I'm sure you've heard about GSI and EMI, and my role today is just to give you a snapshot of what they will look like so that you can understand a little bit more about how they will work. So the first one I'm going to start with is the Global Skilling Initiative. So this is a fully online program that seeks to upskill workers who have lost their jobs due to COVID. As we all know, last year was a really difficult time for businesses and people who are formally employed. And so this is a way for them to either reskill, upskill, and find new work. So as you can see at the top, we have three main sections. We have learn in demand skills. They can also apply for jobs and prepare for interviews. So we'll start with the first one, learn in demand skills. As Candy mentioned, we have 10 learning paths that they can take that are drawn from the most in-demand skills on LinkedIn. In addition to this, for the technical skills, they can go ahead and gain a Microsoft certification at a discounted rate. So this is for IT administrator, software developer, and IT support or help desk. So moving on to the next section. We have apply for jobs. So as we all know, LinkedIn is a jobs platform. So on LinkedIn, they're able to find new work, and they're also able to learn how they can use their LinkedIn profile to stand out to recruiters so that they can get noticed. Finally, we have the prepare for interview section. And in this section, they can be able to learn more about how to conduct themselves in interviews, as well as practice how to go through interviews. And in this case, we hope that combining all three will prepare the workers for the new reality and the new process of getting jobs in 2021. Our next project is EMI, also called Emerging Markets Initiative. So this one is a localized initiative that seeks to support underserved communities. So the focus here is digital literacy skills, because we understand that this is something that we will all need going forward in a new reality. So we start at the very basics with introduction to computers, how to work with Microsoft products, how to work with Microsoft Teams. So very basic digital skills. But we combine that with employability and entrepreneurship learning. So this is an example of one class where they can learn how to work with computers. And as you can see, when they go to the course library, they can see the rest of the available courses. So here you can see we have Build Your Business, and when you scroll down, we have more classes on digital literacy, and we also have employability skills as well. So with this platform, because it's going to be it's going to be deployed locally, we've tried to make it as customizable as possible. So that means you can add your own content. So as we are working with the ministry on this, you'll be able to add your own content to the platform. On top of this, we've added some systems to make sure it's very easy to use. So if you go to the administrator profile, yeah, sorry, the internet is a little bit slow. So as you can see, this is something that we definitely need to have improved going forward as a country, because we will rely on internet a lot. Okay, as it's loading, I'll just explain it. So it has different functions. So you can be able to add courses on the back end of the platform. You can also be able to manage your learners, which means as you're adding them onto the platform, you can be able to group them in terms of, let's say, universities, learning centers, and you can be able to track their progress as they go through the program. So unfortunately, we've not been able to show this, but perhaps you can show this a little bit better towards the end. So that's it for my presentation, just to give you a quick outline of what the profiles, what the platforms look like, and I hope that you can engage more on them as we go along. Thank you. Pauline?
Thank you very much, Kendi. Thank you very much, Lorna. I want to introduce the PS Trade so that he can welcome our CAS. We will then invite the CS. And as the PS is coming to the stage, Madam CS, what I wanted to say is that what you've seen here as a demo, we've already given the same to the ministry officials and the different centers. Kirti, for example, is already interested in bringing some of their programs onto the platform. So we've already advanced in that, and the computer donation our chair lady mentioned is actually going to be distributed. The computers will be distributed to the Biashara centers, the MSEA, Kirti, and KIE, and we are hoping on the back of that we'll be able to offer this training. Thank you.
I've been asked to invite my senior political leaders. And before I make that invitation to them, let me start by thanking Stanbic for this gesture of supporting our ministry. I had earlier on, I believe I was among the first 5 to arrive in this room, and I asked the CEO, because I know from another quarter that this is one of the banks that is supporting the African Continental Free Trade Area in terms of trade finance. I asked that we branch a bit out of the donation together with Microsoft to support the trade negotiations. Because one of your responsibilities when you are working in this country and making business in this country and satisfying your shareholders is also to look at where developing countries are going. I know Madam CS will celebrate the accession of one of our own to the highest office in the WTO. And as we head towards the 12th Ministerial Conference, one of the important agenda that Africa will take to the global trade arena is that we have arrived, because we already have a trading platform in the form of the African Continental Free Trade Area. And you are in the country that is taking the lead. You are in the country that has offered that leadership in Africa, so that as we begin to engage with the rest of the world, we have shown the way. We've already crafted the negotiation trade agreement with the UK, and we are going ahead with the one for the US. And we have very many suitors lined up for that. So we'd want you to expand this partnership. I was telling your representative from Microsoft, your partner, that during the last but one General Assembly, President Kenyatta had a short conversation with Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, and I was there. And the conversation was around the same subject of trying to bring a lot more of digital trade through the internet and create jobs and reduce poverty in Africa. So I'm happy that we have congregated here this morning to welcome the kite donation that you are going to give us. I believe it's not going to be the last one. I was not meant to make a statement as such. Mine was basically to introduce Lawrence Karanja and Betty Maina in different capacities. They help us manage the ministry, and we are very happy that we are working as a team. I have known both of them in different capacities, but for Honorable Karanja, he has really stepped in the wide scope that we have had for the way in which we are able to transit between industry and trade and between politics and business. And because you know business affects politics and politics affects business, our idea here is to make sure that all of them grow in a way that doesn't disrupt the livelihoods of Kenyans. And therefore, I would wish to invite him to the stage so that he can say his piece. And thank you very much, Waziri. Karibu.
I think I have another guy. PS, this is yours. For big people, you have some technology. Thank you, our CS, Madam Betty Maina, my boss, our Principal Secretary, Trade and Enterprise Development, Ambassador Wero, CEO, Charles Mudio, the Chair of the Foundation, Ori, Kedi, the Head of Microsoft, our CEOs of our various semi-autonomous government agencies who are implementing this project, the members of staff from both Microsoft and Stanbic, and also our staff from the ministry. Mine today is very, very brief because my boss is here and she's going to give the ministerial position on this partnership. When Ambassador Weru spoke about politics, it's because if you go to Stanbic and I apply for loan or CS or PS, there are people who you call politically exposed persons. So 3 of us are politically exposed persons. Therefore, you require extra due diligence before you advance us any financial accommodation. But today we are here working for the nation and arguing the case for our nation, and specifically the small, medium, and micro enterprise. Madam CS, this journey began around, I think, May or April, when CFC, Stanbic approached us, and you delegated the duty to me. And thereafter, a journey started. And when we met, I believe, with Pauline, there was Renato, and a small team from the ministry, we started negotiating how can we cooperate. And at that time, the greatest challenge the SMEs were facing, remember it was the time of lockdown, was assessing some of the facilities which were supposed to assist them to protect themselves from COVID-19. And the quick win was Stanbic said they were ready to donate the hard washing machines. And we were discussing where we were going to hand over the machines. And for ourselves, I had said that your boardroom has sufficient space. But the humility of Pauline said, no, let's go to Kariobangi, that was a big challenge to us when they said we want to go to where the small and micro enterprises are, not in our boardroom. I don't know why they didn't want to come to your boardroom. Maybe CEO will tell you why, because he is listed next to you. And from that journey, when we went to Kariobangi, we started meeting, and the issue of this partnership, again, the issue of the Microsoft came in, and we quickly assembled a team from various agencies. I believe from our ministry, from the State Department, which was headed by Masharia, Director Masharia, and Gakiha, Nicholas, and then all our agencies. Also, there was a representative from trade, and our agencies, I don't know, Micro and Small Enterprise Authority, KILDI, KIE, KIBIT, all of them. And I'm very, very impressed that none of them has ever missed a single meeting. They are always represented. Surprisingly, I know all of them, but I've never met them physically. I only see them behind the screen. I saw some today, but I was surprised they are extremely challenged in terms of height. But when they are seated, I've been thinking they are very, very tall when we are sitting discussing, because I've been seeing them on the screen. But what I know is the commitment and dedication of that team. They have worked tirelessly. When they are told that we need to meet in 3 days, when we meet, there is always progress. Pauline is also a machine when it comes to working. How she is able, she tells me, I'll be contacting KIA. When I call her next, she tells me, I thought she has only talked to Dr. Narikai, but she tells me, we have even progressed further with KILDI. We are going to do the donation on this and this day. We have discussed with the MCA, we have discussed with the KIBIT, and all those. So we are very, very impressed by the teamwork which has been there between the government and our agencies, Microsoft, and also Stanbic. We have, and before, we wanted to be sure that before the demo was done to you, it was done to us. So it went through, we approved it, and we said it is fit for the cabinet secretary to be demonstrated. That's why, had it not been that small hint in terms of network, you'd have seen it all. But we are very, very impressed, and we also thank you very much for agreeing to grace this occasion. It is the last time I think we were waiting for you was during the launch of the foundation, but you had a cabinet meeting and you delegated, and I believe I represented you well, and it is because of that representation that we have advanced to the next stage of this cooperation. We have an MOU which we have advanced. I'm informed by the legal officer from the State Department of Trade that it is awaiting clearance by the Attorney General. Once it is cleared, we will have it brought to your attention so that it can be signed. But you can see the level of trust that even before the MOU is signed, we are ready to launch this partnership. It's because we, as partners, the 3 partners, we trust each other. Without much ado, it is now a single honor and privilege to invite our Cabinet Secretary to come and address this gathering. Karibu Waziri.
Thank you very much, Lawrence, and the entire team that have made this happen. I am really very honored to be here and very excited that our partnership has moved beyond donating hand washing machines and operational stuff like that to something that we think is very, very transformational and builds on our country's plan, digital transformation plan, and the centrality of technology and the digital economy. I want to congratulate you, Charles. I don't know how you've survived these women. But we really want to applaud your courage. I'm certain people have told you about the reputation of Oreo Kolo and the reputation of Pauline Baya, but even if they hadn't told you by now, you have experienced it. So, yes. Yeah, those are serious powerhouses here in our country, and we are privileged to be working and to be celebrating this with yourselves. I want to thank you, both Microsoft and Stanbic, for this, for the donation that you're making to the ministry, and really through us, to the micro and small enterprises in the country, but also to the training institutions that will host these resources, and what we can do for our young people, for our women, for our entrepreneurs. A large part of the economy is made up of micro and small and medium enterprises. Around the world, it's not just in Kenya, more than 90%, actually 98% is the number we give, more than 90% of our businesses are in this category. They create about 30% of the jobs and contribute at least 34% to GDP. In Kenya, we have nearly, what we have counted is 7.4 million enterprises operating, but that doesn't include you and you and you with your side hustles, which are still enterprises. So we really think that we're, that's why I think it's a number that is a lot nearer 10 million. And that's a beautiful thing about Kenya, is that everybody has some enterprise going. They might not call it that, but when they meet in their chamas and other places, they are able to share that, whether that's poultry rearing business, some transport business, some dry cleaning business, some vegetable delivery business, whatever it is, there's a lot that is going on. And I'm certain that they will benefit a lot from this, this training. What you will do, the focus of training and support for enterprises, the areas you will focus on: managerial capacity building, skill gaps upscaling, record keeping. All these things are critical because they are the lifeline businesses. But I'm also excited that you're not just working with business, but you're also working with people who may still be preparing themselves for employment, and some of the skills that you've discussed about from your global initiative will come in handy for our young people. Of course, we want to emphasize and stress that the skills we really want to build are entrepreneurial skills, because we might be able to prepare for an interview, and we will, but you want that person to be a lot more empowered by the, by the entrepreneurial journey that they would like to take, because that could at least solve Charles's problems when he has to go to the board. At least if he has managed to recruit some clients in the enterprise, in the business component, it will be very helpful as a company and as you build your own portfolio. Our SMEs were very negatively affected by COVID. We shared those numbers, about 1 million jobs lost. But our SMEs have also been part and have demonstrated great resilience, even during these COVID times. One of the groups I was dealing a lot with was facilitation for the e-commerce players, and especially their order fulfillment, ensuring that the people who fulfilled orders are facilitated. So we'd have long conversations about how you recognize the borders that are delivering for Glovo or for Jumia or everybody else, and how they can be facilitated to traverse lockdowns and curfew. But as a result of that, at least the numbers we got got last year, is that a lot of these e-commerce companies actually expanded during COVID because of their partnerships with their order fulfillers. And that generated some jobs for others. I mean, some people might have lost jobs, but perhaps they went into order fulfillment. So for us, we've seen as a country that this digital space has a lot of potential. Charles mentioned about matatus now using digital services, and those people are able, I think those particular businesses are able to expand their own participation and, more importantly, attract a lot of our young people in. We've discussed, and I think you're also partners with the Tujiajiri program and with agriculture, and the role of the digital space and digitalization in making agriculture attractive. People tell you, I can even, establish what is the nutrients missing in my plants and get that delivered or released from the irrigation system without being at the farm, but that they've just done the analysis. So we as a country believe that digital space is going to be very, very transformational. Our president was speaking last Monday at the Africa Business Forum on the matter of digital, the digital transformation strategy. So this is something that the country has taken very seriously, and we believe it is going to be critical for our delivery of our own national programs, delivery of our Big Four agenda, delivery of our national vision strategy. And we are privileged that you are partnering with us, and we believe that this will go a very, very long way in ensuring that we can grow our businesses. So all we can do at this point is thank you very much, and thank you for the partnership with the government of Kenya. I agree with you, nothing scales better than government. You'll be able to reach, simultaneously you should be able to reach all 47 counties within this period and reach a large number of people. And we promise that we shall unleash and we shall partner with our national government administrative system to ensure that we are able to reach as many people as seamlessly as possible. And together we can advance and grow our businesses. I'm glad that there is a component in the training program to add our own, additional content. And some of the contents we want to suggest, especially that needs to be added, may be content around navigating government. And the MSEA is currently developing a portal of information for small and medium enterprises. And that will have an interface on just people's awareness about the necessary regulations and how to navigate that space. So that clearly is one of the portals that I'd like us to see if we can add. The PS mentioned about the Africa Continental Free Trade Area and trading outside Kenya. Some of these entrepreneurs need to understand how to export, how to ensure that their products can reach, first of all, how to identify clients in another country and how to get their products in, including the logistics of it. So we can also add capacity for external trade, both local trade, but also for external trade. We are a country of 50 million people. None of our entrepreneurs will grow to sufficient scale if they are not serving, or if they are not part of an external market, an external market chain. And our exports are key to development, growing our exports are key to development in Kenya. I'm excited that in the context of COVID last year, we actually expanded our exports by about 30 billion shillings, and we reduced our imports by 300 billion shillings, which means that this is a country that has capacity to import substitute, and we need to build and support our entrepreneurs who are engaged in export. So we could probably also add some dimensions of external trade and the facilitation of the same to these platforms, and that can link in with the portals that MSEA is currently developing. Our institution, KIE, has been our incubator for small and medium enterprises. Charles because you need to fulfill that other part of your mandate of, selling more money, I want to encourage you to get into a more active partnership with KIE so that you can also inherit some of their maturing SMEs, because we believe that the resources, the very limited resources we have for incubation, should not be spent on somebody who has demonstrated some resilience, and some longevity. So as we pressurize Dr. Narikae to graduate businesses, if you're hanging by the wings of KIE, then we can definitely make sure that we can graduate these businesses into your soft facility, so that we can free up government resources for proper incubation, and those who are able to go, you can become a second tier handholder as they grow. So as I end, I want to thank you very much for this partnership with the government, with the ministry. We have put our resources at full disposal over the last 8 months as this program has developed, and the presence of the CEOs of these institutions demonstrate that they also see that your support is going to help them fulfill their performance contract. So they are not here just because they were coerced by Lawrence. They are here because it serves, when they want to demonstrate what they have accomplished, when they're looking for renewals of contract, they can at least use this. Everything, we are all selfish, when all is said and done, but in meeting our own interests, we are able to continue to meet our own national obligations. So we have put our resources at your disposal, and we're grateful that you've put your resources at our disposal, and we believe that this partnership between government and the private sector will go a long way in meeting the objectives of all of us. I thank you very much, and I'm really very excited that we're able to move. I'm glad to note that the MOU is at the final stages, and our Attorney General, once he gives their feedback, perhaps we'll then have another session, or even, maybe some of it is still digital, but that one probably, when you're signing the MOU, would have to be physical, and we are happy to continue to find a reason to meet again. Asante sana.
So we are now unveiling the partnership. So Betty, you can come here, and then Kendi this way, and then Charles and Ori. Ministries here. Yeah, ministries here. Yeah, the logo is there, and then this too. Yes. You'll press the button. You'll just press the button so that some light can go. Okay. So we are ready now to unveil the partnership. So I request our distinguished guests to press the button. It's not going on. Okay, Microsoft is done. Charles, Betty, thank you. Conscious that the CS will be leaving shortly, so we had the second part, which is the donation of the laptop. So I'll ask my chair lady, Ori, to actually hand over this. Symbolic. I think now I'll hand over back to, I give the vote of thanks. So, Madam CS, thank you very much for your remarks. On behalf of Stanbic, on behalf of our partners, would like to say we have taken notes. We will be meeting with their colleagues and the different state agencies to try and look at the opportunities. But just to say, on behalf of all of us, thank you for gracing the occasion, and we'll move forward with the partnership. I'm conscious that you're running out of time, but thank you very much. Madam CS, I've been asked to invite you to Kendi, Charles, Ori.
Demonstrates, when a student or a professional comes and say,
I forgot about this one. Stanley needs to go on password.
Welcome.
I've been given, I will come for you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Precisely what we are hinting at.
Yes.
But I agree with you. You are my kid.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for honoring this.
Like I said, in the department.
Yes. Okay. You've met Charles, huh?
Yes.
You met last time.
Yes. I met the last time.
Yeah.
Concentrate on the other case.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sasa computers unaona ziko tayari? Hizo?
Naona mmejipanga.
Ziko tayari.
Tena tu sana.
Data zimeenda. We now have about 487, so you will get those ones. So we've agreed, we now agree how we're going to do the donations.
Wonderful. You must be busy.
No, program starts. No, I work a lot with colleagues.
I know. You have to leverage on their... Okay.
Thank you so much. You guys, I'm a powerhouse. You know she's my friend. No, but not the same chama, but like we traveled when I was with the youth, we traveled everywhere together. Oh, really? So, because she's very simple, then see you come. Yes. So like I remember once in Mexico, so that's why she's like, man, this girl is a powerhouse.
Well done.
But Asante, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Serious accolades, yeah.
tell me he was a retailer. He ran branches like me.
Yeah, they don't have Java password, so then it's faster that way. You just put in your number, you send a code, put it in very fast. So this is
Thank you very much. I think this program really aligns very well to the government. Yeah? Okay. This program aligns very well with the government digital transformation strategy and blueprint, because it helps us to onboard a lot of digital skills for our people. We have digital government. We've been rolling out e-government, e-citizen services, revenue payment and collection services. So, I mean, the government has really embraced the e-transformation strategy. But we also think it's very good for support to businesses as well. That out, we believe staff on e-commerce, the e-payment systems,